How humans survived freezing winters before electricity. What if tonight your heater stopped working and never turned back on again? No electricity, no backup, no escape, just a long, brutal winter, slowly taking over your home. Now imagine this isn't temporary. This is your entire life. Because for most of human history, winter wasn't just a season, it was a test of survival. And the people who passed it did things that might shock you. Now let's reveal the first secret of survival: fire was everything. Imagine living in a world where a single flame decides whether you live or freeze. Before electricity, fire wasn't comfort, it was survival itself. Families didn't just use fire, they protected it like their most valuable possession. Historical records from medieval Europe show that hearth fires were rarely allowed to go out, especially in winter. Someone in the household was always responsible for feeding it even at night, because relighting a fire wasn't as simple as a matchstick. It could take time, effort, and skill, and in freezing temperatures, that delay could be deadly. Entire homes were built around this one glowing center. Life happened around it: cooking, eating, and sleeping. Step too far away, and the cold reminded you instantly who was in control. Now let's understand the second survival strategy: homes were built to fight the cold. These weren't just houses, they were survival machines. In cold regions, people designed homes specifically to trap heat and block wind. Thick walls made of wood, mud, wattle, and daub, or even layers of earth acted as insulation. Archaeological evidence shows that Viking and Northern European homes often had minimal windows, not for style, but to prevent heat loss. Rooms were small on purpose, because heating a large space was nearly impossible. In places like Iceland, families lived together in one shared room during winter, known historically as a communal living space, where body heat combined with fire made survival possible. It wasn't about comfort, it was about keeping death outside the walls. Now, let's uncover the third defense: clothing was their shield against death. Step outside without proper clothing, and you wouldn't last long. Before modern fabrics, people relied on animal furs and wool, and this wasn't random. Wool has natural insulating properties and can retain heat even when slightly damp. Animal furs provided an outer layer that blocked wind and trapped warmth close to the body. Indigenous Arctic communities, for example, used layered fur clothing with inner and outer skins, creating an incredibly effective heat barrier. This wasn't fashion, it was science, learned through survival. At night, thick wool blankets weren't optional. Without them, body temperature could drop dangerously during sleep, because in that cold, rest itself was a risk. Now, let's explore another hidden tactic. They changed their entire way of living. Winter didn't just change the weather, it changed human behavior. Without artificial heating or lighting, staying active in freezing darkness wasted energy and increased risk. So people adapted. Historical accounts show that many societies followed the sun strictly during winter months. They woke with daylight, worked efficiently, and rested early. Less movement meant conserving body heat. Less exposure meant fewer chances of illness or freezing. Life slowed down, not by choice, but by necessity. Now, let's reveal a powerful truth. Survival meant staying close. Here's something most people don't realize. Warmth didn't just come from fire, it came from people. Families slept together, often in the same bed or tightly packed spaces. This wasn't just cultural, it was practical. Shared body heat significantly increased warmth in enclosed areas. Historical housing patterns across Europe and Asia show that during winter, multiple generations lived in a single heated space. Because alone, your body loses heat faster, but together, you create your own source of warmth. Now, let's expose a harsh reality: food could decide life or death. Winter wasn't just cold, it was hungry. Without refrigeration, people had to prepare months in advance. Food preservation methods like salting, drying, and smoking were essential. Archaeological findings and historical texts confirm that cellars were used as natural cold storage to extend food life. If supplies ran out before winter ended, there were no second chances. Every bite you ate in winter was planned long before the snow arrived, because survival wasn't daily, it was seasonal strategy. Now let's uncover a surprising method protecting the body itself. The cold didn't just surround you, it attacked you. Exposed skin could freeze quickly, leading to frostbite. So people used animal fat like goose or seal fat as a protective barrier. This method is well documented among Arctic and subarctic cultures. It created a layer that reduced moisture loss and protected skin from freezing winds. It may sound primitive today, but in that environment, it was life-saving. Now, let's break down the final system. Heating evolved, but danger remained. At first, homes used open hearths, simple fires with smoke escaping through the roof. But these came with risks: smoke inhalation, fire hazards, and heat loss. Over time, more advanced systems like enclosed stoves, including large masonry stoves in Eastern Europe, improved heat retention dramatically. These structures could store heat for hours, even after the fire died down. Nomadic groups used central fire pits inside insulated shelters, carefully controlling airflow to keep heat inside. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't easy, but it worked. Now, let's uncover a silent killer. The air inside homes was dangerous. You might think staying indoors was completely safe, but it wasn't. Early heating systems like open fires and primitive stoves filled homes with smoke and harmful gases. Without proper chimneys, people constantly inhaled smoke, leading to eye irritation, lung problems, and long-term health damage. Historical evidence shows that many homes had blackened walls and ceilings from constant soot buildup. And here's the terrifying part. They had no idea how dangerous it really was. They chose between freezing to death and slowly damaging their lungs. Because in winter, even the air you breathe could harm you. Now, let's reveal a strange but effective trick. Beds were built to trap heat. Sleeping wasn't simple. It was strategic. In medieval Europe, people used enclosed wooden beds almost like boxes designed to trap body heat inside. Some even had curtains or panels to prevent warmth from escaping. Why? Because the air inside a room could be freezing, even if a fire was burning nearby. By creating a smaller, enclosed sleeping space, they turned their own body heat into a survival tool. It might feel suffocating today, but back then, it could save your life before morning. Now, let's face the harshest truth: not everyone survived winter. Here's something history doesn't always show clearly. Winter was deadly. Despite all these strategies, people still died from exposure, illness, and starvation. Historical records from harsh winters in Europe and Asia describe entire communities struggling, with the elderly and weakest most at risk. Illness spread faster in cold, crowded spaces. Food shortages became critical, and once the body started losing heat rapidly, there was often no coming back. This wasn't just discomfort, it was a seasonal threat that returned every single year. Today, warmth is instant. You press a button, and winter disappears. But not long ago, every night was a challenge. Every flame mattered, every decision could mean survival or disaster. So the next time you feel cold, ask yourself one question: would you survive a winter without electricity? If this made you think differently, don't forget to like, share, and follow for more real, powerful stories that reveal how humans truly survived.